Can you hear me now? Excellent. I apologize for that. Our sound guy is new. So, I see we have two brave souls this evening. Sexy Archie has returned for the 5th night in a row. And I see we also have Preacher Man 777. Welcome. So, are you brave enough to hear the tales of the Reaper? I will take your stunned silence as a yes. Let us begin. Tonight's first tale is entitled The Room of the Murderous Phantoms. Long ago, in old China, there was an inn located in one of the northern provinces that had a haunted room. No traveler dared set foot in it, let alone spend the night there. For to do so meant certain madness or death. Late one summer evening, a wandering sage named Yi arrived at the inn and requested a room for the night. Alas, said the innkeeper, there is only one vacant room left, and no one ever stays there because it is haunted. I have no fear of spirits, replied Yi. The good wish me no harm, and the evil are powerless against me. But, honored sir, insisted the innkeeper, no man has lived who spent a single night in that accursed chamber. That does not concern me, declared Yi. The greatest weapon of evil spirits is fear, in the hearts of those they would destroy. My heart is free from fear, therefore I am safe. Thus, despite the innkeeper's persistent plea not to enter the room, Yi calmly went into it, stretched out his simple sleeping mat, and soon fell asleep. At midnight, he was awakened by a noise. Looking up, Yi saw the door slowly opening. When it had swung all the way, a woman with a noose around her neck came toward him with outstretched hands. Her head was canted to one side, her eyes protruded horribly, and her tongue hung out as blood trickled down from her cracked lips. Directly behind her was a man in rags, carrying his head beneath one arm. Rivulets of blood dripped down his shirt from the stump of his neck, and droplets fell to the floor from the decapitated head. After him came a man who was completely black, and whose head had no eyes, no nose, and no mouth. Lastly came a hideous, yellow, bloated figure with a face like a decayed pumpkin. and a body like putrefied raw potatoes. Ye watched calmly as the four apparitions surrounded him. "A living man!" cried one. "Seize him!" gurgled another. "We will tear him to shreds," rasped a third. "No," muttered the bloated yellow one. "It is no good. We cannot harm anyone who does not fear us. We are powerless." "Of course," declared he. "Only when terror drives away the soul can evil spirits such as you attack the body. Now, tell me who you are and why you have come here." At that, the four malevolent ghosts knelt down humbly before the sage and answered his question. The woman had committed suicide in that very room. The headless one had been a murderer and had died on the block. The black one had been burned to death, and the yellow one had drowned. "If you will believe some good advice," said he when the four specters had finished their stories, "you may still have hope." "We will," they answered in chorus. "Then stop these evil hauntings and seek forgiveness, so that in time you may be granted reincarnation." "We hear you, O wise man," they replied, and with that, they vanished. In the morning, the innkeeper was astonished to find ye alive and well. But when the old man told him what had happened, he rejoiced, and all was well, for the hauntings never took place again. The end. So remember, my children, when confronted with things you do not understand, there is rarely anything to fear but fear itself. And of course, me. But that's another story. Did you enjoy that tale, my children? Would you like to hear one more before I return to the crypt? Ah, yes. Okay, for our second tale this evening, I have one for you entitled The Ghosts of the Boleyns. The story of Lady Anne Boleyn, the second wife of Henry VIII, is well known. It is not a ghost story, merely a prelude to one. For centuries, there have been many legends and rumors relating to nocturnal appearances of the hapless queen who stalks the drafty corridors of the Tower of London with her head tucked underneath her arm. The tower is said to have many ghosts. The most popular one, about the Boleyn family ghosts though, does not center around the Tower of London, but around Licking Hall, a house that was not yet built when the ill-fated Lady Anne lost her head in 1536. Licking was one of several estates that belonged to the then powerful Boleyn family. The hall, which is said to be haunted by Anne's restless spirit, was built about 1619. During her lifetime, she spent many happy years on the estate in another long-gone house. She is said to return to Licking once a year in a manner most terrifying to those who see her. First can be heard the sound of horses' hooves to the accompaniment of whip cracks and the crunch of gravel beneath the wheels of a coach. Then there comes into view a black, horse-like carriage drawn by 4 headless stable horses. As the terrible vehicle draws closer, its phantom occupant can be seen inside, sitting erect with her bloody head resting on her lap. Driving is a headless coachman, and in attendance are 4 headless footmen. After making her annual drive around the grounds of Licking Park, the ghostly headless Anne can be seen stalking about the garden, gliding along noiselessly and wringing her hands in anguish. As she flits about, first this way, then that, she finally heads in the direction of a small turret at the far end of the grounds. There she disappears until the following year, when it is time again for her to repeat her grim pilgrimage. But the ghost of Anne is not the only one to haunt Licking and the district around it. Tradition has it that her father, Sir Thomas Boleyn, who also lost his head to the executioner's axe, returns from time to time. His appearance is far more spectacular, they say, than that of his daughter. Like her, he comes in a black carriage, driven by a headless coachman, and drawn by 4 headless horses. He too is seated inside the coach with his head on his lap, but there the resemblance ends. Where Anne's ghostly ride is at a normal pace, her father's is that of a frenzied race. According to the story, the old man is condemned to do 1,000 years of penance by crossing 40 bridges in the vicinity within a prescribed period of time. If he does not fulfill this, he will be seized by the devil himself and dragged to the fires of hell for all eternity. So when old Boleyn returns to cross his 40 bridges, he must drive as fast as the whirlwind, faster than the devil, and a terrible sight it is to all who behold him. The wheels of the coach clatter as it sways in the wind. Sparks fly as the thunderous pounding of the horses' hooves beat against the ground. The stinging cracks of the headless coachman's long black whip split the air like rifle shots. But there's no snorting, no whinnying, only the crackle and hiss of flames issuing from the headless necks of horses, driver, and passenger alike. And when they have gone, while the dying echoes of their frenzied passage birthday on the breeze. There is nothing left but a faint smell of brimstone. The end. Did you enjoy that tale, my children? Are they true? Are they fiction? I'll leave that to you to decide. Thank you for joining me, your host, The Reaper. This evening, I will be here telling ghostly tales of terror every weeknight from now until Halloween. That's 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 midnight Eastern. I hope to see you all again soon. Until then, thank you for joining me, and pleasant nightmares.